Welcome back. I'm glad yous all decided to come on back. Today we're going to be taking off these Dayton rims. In the semi-tractor trailer world, you have three separate types of rims. These with this star pattern, with these wedges and nuts, these are called Daytons. And then you have the buds with the inside and outside lug nuts, where you take the outside lug nuts off, 10 of them, pull the outside tire off, then take the inside 10 lug nuts off to get the inside tire. Then you have the Bud Dayton, or I'm sorry, my mistake, the Bud Pilots, where you only have one set of 10 lug nuts. And once you get those 10 lug nuts off, then you go ahead and you take both tires off, tire rim assemblies. But now you got to be careful with this style, especially when you're taking them off, because you only want to loosen these up. You don't want to take these nuts here all the way off until you knock these loose, because if you do, sometimes these are under enough pressure where they can come back when you knock them loose. If the nut isn't still on there, it could come back and hit you and hurt you in different severities. So what you want to do is take these nuts off, or loose, not off, but take them, loosen them up, and put a gap between the wedge and the nut. And I'm going to show you that here in a minute. Now you see there's a gap right here. I can stick my finger in, which that's not a good idea either, because I mean it could spontaneously break loose. But after you do that, usually I do all of them. Yeah, hit it, and it's not going to come loose. I'm going to have to go ahead and do that with the rest of them, and then we'll have to hit it. Okay, you just watched how that jumped out. Now it had not come back against the nut, but I mean, you've seen how much pressure there was. That one's loose. Now you go all the way around the rim until you get them all loose like that. Then you take these nuts off. Otherwise you can get hurt. Now that one came loose on its own. So did that one. Now I just have to finish getting this nut off because I'm waiting for the air compressor to build up, because it didn't want to come off. But if you wanted, you could go ahead and take the rest of these nuts off, because these wedges are loose, so they're not going to hurt you. This one here, I got to do the same as I did, just bring nuts part of the way off and then hit it and get it to break loose. Here's what the wedge actually looks like when it's not on. And once you get them all off, then the tire will slide off, the outer one, and then there's a spacer ring. It's in here, and that's what's here, is a spacer ring right there. Then you got to take that off to get the inside one off. A lot of these were actually tubeless. Now this one here being 11R22.5, I apologize. A lot of these Daytons were tubed tires, which were split rims. But these being 11R22.5 instead of 20 or 22, because it's got that 0.5, means it's a tubeless tire. So these are not going to be split rims. They shouldn't be. But a lot of people didn't like messing with them because they were split rims and there was a lot more work, and if you didn't seat the rim right, it could hurt you too. But this should be like a Bud or a Bud Pilot where there's no ring. I'll find out when I get them off, because when you mount these, when you put these on a vehicle, the ring always goes towards the spacer, which means the inside rim, the ring would be facing out. The inside, the ring would be facing in. And there's another little thing. You see these here? They're little stops. And what it's there for is if the rim spins, your wedge will come up against this stop. And it's there to prevent the tire from spinning and ripping out the valve stem. Usually on the split rims, it would be the inner tube valve stem. this is going to be the first video. There's a second video after this one that's going to show me putting this back together, because there's a trick to these Daytons for putting them back together, because if you don't do it, then the tires will wobble going down the road. If you've already dealt with these rims, then you know what I'm talking about. If not, come back to the second video and I'll show you how to true the tires up so they're not wobbling and the truck or trailer isn't swaying back and forth. The ring gave me a little bit of trouble coming off. I had to use a hammer to tap it off because it just slides on here. It's all, it just sits there. I'm going to show you all the way around the ring here. Normally, every split rim I've seen, on the ring, there's a slice here so you can open it up to get it on and off the rim. And as you can see, there is no split, which means it's not a split rim. In my experience, I've never seen one that didn't have the slice. So this is a tubeless tire, not a tube tire. So I'm going to take it off and I'm going to air it up, and I'm going to use soapy water. I'm going to go around the bead, the valve stem, tread, everything, and see if I can figure out why it went ahead and went flat. Hopefully it just didn't have enough air and it just come off the bead. I appreciate watching this video. Go ahead and hit that bell button and hit that subscribe button. And come on back for the next video. Thank you.